everybody. Welcome back to the Royalty, episode 2 of The Traitors, season 3. I'm your host, Derek F., a.k.a. Big D.
I am your co-host, Tiffany, a.k.a. Tippy Toes, the big Tiff, not the little one.
Come on, not the little one. Come, you know what? Tell them to run your fade at this point.
At this point, running my fade. I say, yeah, run it do. You know, you got to.
Wait, what the guy say? He say, you got to, what he say?
You got to
mush them. You got to mush them.
So like grab you, mush them, pull your hair all the way back. Put a swim cap on, even better.
Ding, 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 ding.
Why he steal my idea?
Listen, guys, thank you so much for coming back. Please remember to like and subscribe and comment. Please remember to share. Okay, we recap a lot of reality shows over here on the Heavy Crown Network, but especially on the Royalty Podcast. Now, Tiffany,
make sure you subscribe, because then you'll become a part of the Royal Court. And you'll get notifications when we're on and when our show is premiering, because we tune in live and watch the episode with you and we chat. So make sure you become a subscriber so you can be in the chat with us in the Royal Court.
And as Tiffany would say, hello, Royal Court.
Hello, Royal Court.
Thank you guys for coming back and joining us for episode 2. Now, Tiff, how are you doing?
Ooh, child, they really trying to stress me out on this Traitors, honey.
I'm not going to lie, I feel overwhelmed, and we're going to get into it.
Right.
But episode 2, it was called Revenge is a Dish Best Served Cold. And you kind of pointed out, like, did we use this title before? It kind of does sound a little familiar. Maybe one of the reality shows have used it before.
Somebody used it. I heard
Somebody has used it. We start off with... we find out that, Boston Rob, is going to be a traitor. Alan lets him know you're going to be a traitor, bring you back into the game. And then after he gets done telling Boston Rob he's going to be a traitor, he puts him in this cage. And then he finds out who the other 2 people that were in the cage with him. Coming to find out, it is Derek Levasseur from Big Brother, okay?
Winner of Big Brother 16.
Big Brother 16, who's also a detective. He's a big threat. Put it like that. He's a
big threat. He is now, he has his own, he's on a show called Crime Weekly, where he is still doing detective work. So he's got his spidey senses all sharpened. Okay, he is just naturally a spy.
Yeah, naturally a spy.
Yes.
Like, I would be stressed if he was there. And then last but not least, my ginger daddy Wes from
on yet another show. Are you tired?
I will say this. I feel like because you know what you're talking about.
Okay,
let me talk about this real quick. I'm gonna be real quick. I feel like once you do Traitors, it's kind of like, all right, it's time to hang up your hat. Unless you come back and do an all-star season of Challenge 50 or something like that. But that's just my thoughts. And I love Wes. I'm obsessed with Wes. But I'm just saying, like, you just brought in, think about it, you just brought in Boston Rob, Derek, and Wes. That's a lot. But I'm also happy. You know why I'm happy?
Why?
Because then we can get them out the way and we can start calling other people. Okay? Like me and you. Thank you. Now. So let's get them out the way. So we cut to them up in the turret. I guess this is what you call it. What do you call it with her? The turret.
Yeah.
Danielle is worried about Carolyn. And Carolyn are button heads.
Oh, gosh.
Because Danielle's like 20 steps ahead. She's thinking ahead. Because
well, you have never played this game, so that's not how you shouldn't. You don't know if you should play 20 steps ahead.
Yeah.
I'm speaking. This is what Carolyn is saying.
This is what Carolyn said. Yeah,
Carolyn is meeting Danielle. They're definitely bumping heads right now.
They really are bumping heads. And I think another thing, Tiff, and you kind of called it out when we were watching the episode, like, they're 2 big personalities. I don't know. Now that we kind of picked all these people, I don't know if this was good to put all 3 of them together. I think you should have picked somebody else, like a bachelor or something.
Danielle, who's like, I'm a queen. Carolyn is like, I'm a queen. And then Bob is a drag queen. So you got 3 queens in the turret. somebody is gonna. It can't be too many chefs in the kitchen. It can't. You know.
I can't believe I'm gonna say this. They need some type of. I can't believe I'm gonna say this. Ugh, some type of man up in there.
They
to
need
break that all three up.
Or someone who is going to take
oh my God, it sounds like
not a passive approach, but somebody who doesn't have to be at the forefront, make all the decisions, call the shots, be the leader. Like, and that's the personality of all three of these traitors. So I expect there is going to be some I want to do it my way.
Yeah, it's definitely giving that. They can't even decide on what housewife to kill. It's just like they're trying to go back and forth. They're trying to figure out, should we kill Dorinda? We kill Dorinda, then it might look like Robin. Do we kill Robin? Do we kill Dolores? Like, it's just like they're just going all over it. They're like, should we kill Ion? They're just like all over the place. So after a while, they cut to the morning scene. Breakfast time. And is it Trishelle? Is it Chrishell? And Gabby asked Tony and Jeremy about, Dorinda. They're like, hey, what's the tea about Dorinda blowing up? And they tell her how they think that she's a traitor. They're like, I think so too. It seems like all these, faithfuls are coming in thinking that Dorinda is a traitor. Mm-hmm. After last night, they're like, she's a traitor. Mm-hmm. Ion is so happy to be there. She's talking off Wells' ear. She's just so happy. She don't know what's going on. She's like, I can't even sleep. I still don't know what's going on.
Wells made a really good point. He's like, I like Ion because she does all the talking, which means I don't have to talk as much, which essentially means you can stay out of trouble. So that's a great strategy for someone who's like, I know my mouth gets me into trouble.
I 100% agree with that. That's why I was like, okay, this is very interesting, this like little duo. And you can tell she really does like him a lot. Yeah. I don't think people understand, like I know Ion from Real Housewives of Dubai, and she is the type of player where she's very passionate. Like when she likes you, she likes you. If you take that away from her, she's not happy. She's very protective of her friends and all that. So we can see that as she's talking to them. They end up, after everyone comes in, they come to find out they end up killing Dorinda. And people thought that Dorinda was the traitor. Now, we cut to the turret. And this was Danielle's decision and also Bob's decision, it sounds like, but more of Danielle's decision. Because Carolyn was like, girl, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. I'm tired. Go ahead, kill her. Because Carolyn was like, I don't think you should kill her. She's loud. She's very in people's faces.
They think it's her. Let them think it's her.
Yeah. And it kills Dorinda, and people were just like shocked because they thought that she was a traitor, which I have to say this. Love you, Danielle, but this was a bad move.
I didn't think it was the best decision, especially with the reaction of all everyone else thinking that Dorinda was a traitor. That could have just been someone to keep pinning the target on, but maybe they didn't read that correctly because Carolyn read it right.
Karen read it like a book. She was like, they're going to think she's a traitor. Mm-hmm. I mean, and after seeing how it went down, this was just a bad move on Danielle, and I think Bob was a part of it too, both of their parts. So people were just shocked. Now, Robin does point out, this was a great decision because guess what? It makes it look like one of us are a traitor. Mm-hmm. People think now it's a housewife because they're like, the housewife would kill another housewife because the three Destiny's Child, I'm going to call them Destiny's Child, Nikki, Gabby, and Chrishell, they're like thinking it's a housewife too because they're like, oh, they're all working together. So they have a little threesome that's going on, as Nikki pointed out and called it. So, I mean, Robin's saying that, but guess what? Here comes Wells kind of like, that was interesting for Robin to say that. So, Destiny's Child, as I said, the three girls, they're thinking that, hey, it has to be Dorinda. But when they find out that Dorinda gets killed, Tiff, am I the only person that was kind of like watching Bob the drag queen have this old, like, him and both of them, this is them.
Now Danielle has cried more times in the last 2 days that I have ever seen her. Here's Carolyn. Carolyn can't stand it. She hates it. She's like, and I'm a crier, but all these tears that they're putting on, and it's almost, it's messed up because it's like that's Danielle's strategy and it's Bob's strategy. So they're like stealing each other's strategy. So I know one of them wishes the other one wouldn't do it so that could be their thing. But it's almost like Bob already knows, like, well, I'm dramatic, so I'm going to come in here dramatic. And Danielle's like, I am not emotional, so I'm going to be emotional. So they both picked up this strategy of being emotional. And so then Carolyn's like, she loves that face.
Her face, she can't stand it, and that doesn't help. That doesn't help their game because they're all working together. And if I was someone sitting there watching Carolyn do that face, I'd be like, "Why is she doing that face towards them?"
But see, the thing with Carolyn is nothing she does to me is going to seem suspicious because everything she does is always out of place. So her faces, the things that she said, her reactions to things, I would just look at her and be like, Carolyn just don't understand what's going on.
But people that don't know her might not know that. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying.
She comes off quirky and weird. And you don't have to know her. I would see her walking down the street and be like, yeah, I ain't fucking with her.
I'm also very upset that, also, wait, can we take a moment? How freaking hot is it in there? Because when Tom took that coat off and he had these pits of drooling sweat, I could not
I messed my fucking camera up. It'll come back.
Could not believe the amount of sweat that was coming from Tom as he was sitting there, and he had the nerve to try to reach over to Danielle. I would have been like, "Sir,
I don't think it's hot. I don't think it's hot. I think Tom is a nervous wreck. I think that was adrenaline sweat. I think that he was like shitting his pants on. I mean, his hair is all over his head. His pits are sweaty. He got a gray shirt on. Tom, don't wear gray shirts if you got sweaty pits. It's just not a good combination.
You should never wear gray shirts on TV. I've learned that. No matter who you are.
Well, I don't know, but
like I would never wear this shirt on TV because I know you're going to see sweat. You're going to see sweat.
Well, Tom gonna learn after he watch it back. He's gonna look at my pits. But yeah, Danielle and Bob with the dramatic waterworks. It's just, I don't know. Somebody got to pick up another strategy.
Girl, it took me out. Yeah, and they're both doing the same strategy, so it does not help.
And honey, all the while, everybody is in there just like, oh my God, I cannot believe this. Mm-hmm. One thing a housewife gonna do. Robin did not miss a bite. I'm here. I'm alive, so I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever you say.
Her and Dolores. Okay, wait, because you know why? Guess why? Because these housewives, all they do is eat and talk on TV all day. So they're trained to know to eat and argue and fight and eat.
Well.
Okay. Now, I'm going to kind of cut to, Alan lets them know, hey, I want you guys to meet me. I have a surprise. He wants to take them to, I don't know, whatever, the woods, I guess. Okay, he said, there's opportunity for you guys to get shields. Come with me. Mm-hmm. So he takes them to go get shields, and he has these 3 cages. Now, we know who's in those 3 cages because we found out, but they don't know. So he goes, there's opportunity for you guys to get shields, but this is how you're going to get them. He lets them know. He pulls the first one.
Well, they see these cages, and they're like, what the hell is that? In the woods, cages up and hanging from trees.
Cages from trees, okay? He pulls the first one. The first one is Derek Levasseur. Let me tell you something. Danielle's like, yes! And here's Brittany. Danielle, oh my God, Derek.
Danielle's like, yes. Oh my God. Yes, he's a cop.
Yep. She threw him right under the bus. He's a cop. She wanted everybody to know he's a cop.
Yes, he's a cop. He's a cop. Because she said it twice. She said, damn, Danielle.
Damn, she did, okay? And then Brittany.
She said, the last thing I need is a deceitful detective. That's the last thing I need. She does not want him there. I don't know what you're doing here. You already won. You're a Big Brother legend. I don't need you here. I don't need any other players here. I don't need you here. Mm-hmm. Go then detect somewhere else.
Not go detect somewhere else. Then Alan pulls the second one. And some of the people reacted, like the Survivor players reacted. Obviously, the Big Brother players reacted. But, everybody else was just kind of like, who's this? Wes is making a joke talking about he is the cage man's cousin who has a red ginger beard also.
Of course.
Like, he's making all these jokes. And then it was just funny. Then last but not least, he pulls the last one. It's Boston Rob. And everybody's like, oh my God. Mm-hmm. Everybody knew who Boston Rob was. And it's just like, here comes Jeremy already saying, Survivor, we have to all stick together. Now, Tiffany said this 2 episodes ago. Mm-hmm. And it's wild because you are right. These Survivor players are always going to stick together. Mm-hmm. Now, Ellen lets them know. In order to get these shells, you need to make sure you can bring the cages down. So in order to bring the cages down, you have to go collect coins. Mm-hmm. So everyone scurries to go collect coins, and they all start putting it on Boston Rob.
I think it just is familiarity. They saw him day one. They knew that no one brought him in. They want to get on his good side. We know him. Even if we don't know him. Of course, when he didn't get chosen, the people who didn't know him was like, who was that? Oh, that's Boston Rob. Who's Boston Rob? Boston Rob was on this show. He was on that show. He was on Survivor. He did this. He won this. Yes. So everybody's already talked about him. So he's got this mystique around him that he's this legend. So people knew who he was. And Wes said it. He's like, Survivor knows who I am. Big Brother knows who I am. These housewives don't have a clue who I am.
Who I am. Which cracked me up, okay? And then, they're putting it on Rob. And then, here comes Tom. Tom decides to put his coins on Derek Levasseur.
You better.
Like, okay. He didn't introduce himself. He just put it on Derek. Okay?
First of all, I got to shout out to Derek. I got to take a minute to shout out to Derek Levasseur because Derek Levasseur is the one who got me started in my podcasting era. He contacted me right after I got out of Big Brother and invited me to be a co-host on his channel. Shout out to Winter Circle with Cody and Derek from season 16 and BB season 22. And Derek will always have a special place in my heart. I don't care who doesn't like him. You probably don't even know him, never met him, never had a conversation. I know him personally, a wonderful guy, a really good friend of mine, call him family. So it was great to see him there.
It was really good to see him there. Yes, and shout out to Derek and Cody because, I, took a lot from them learning how they do things. Mm-hmm. And, we were able to build our own channel. So shout out to them. And it's so good to see Derek there because, Cody's got a chance to play on Traitors. Derek's now got a chance to play on Traitors. And it's just refreshing just to see. And
I think this is the first time seeing him back since Big Brother, right? Wow, that's a long time.
He's only popped up and do little hosts and things for Big Brother, but he's never competed again. So this would be
interesting to see him play again.
I would say this. These shows right now are bringing back a lot of old school players, and they're eating, and I'm here for it. You know me. Let's get him out the way, baby.
Oh, keep going.
So, yes. Okay. So then, they start putting in Derek's basket. His basket starts coming down. And here comes AR.
Well, Tom doesn't want to be a part of the get Rob down and kiss his A like it's going to make a difference. So he's like, I don't know this West guy. They're right about that. But this Derek guy, he seems like some people know him. I'm going to work on getting his down. Mm-hmm. Plus, like my girl Gabby said, he's got a baby face. And so, I want to work with him in the game. In the game.
Gabby kills me. Gabby's another one. I'm gonna start paying attention more too because she kills me too. She's doing good. Now here comes Aeon. What does she does when she go up and see West too?
Who are you? I'm Wes. What are you from? What do you do? You have a TikTok? No, I don't have TikTok. Well, what do you do? I'm from this game called The Challenge. And I will help you win this game. Oh, all right.
Oh, you help me win? Okay.
Okay,
fine.
cool. Here, you got my coin.
Listen,
do you have TikTok? That's why I'm just about to start asking everybody. But after January 19th, it's not going to matter because nobody is going to have TikTok. But from now to January 19th, do you have TikTok?
TikTok. Yep.
Do you do TikTok?
I want Wes.
She thought he was a TikToker.
I'm tweeting Wes tonight just so he could be humble and say, "Do you have TikTok?"
What do you do?
He got humble because she said,
TikTok?
"I don't know who you are. Who are you?" Wes
when she asked him, "Do he have TikTok?" I was like, "Is she about to follow him? What is she asking him that for?"
Maybe she thought he was some big time influencer because she was like, "Who are you?"
Yeah. She had no clue.
Thank God. Wes got humble real quick.
He was expecting that. One thing I like about Wes, he is very self-aware and realistic.
Yeah. Now, Tiff, after everything, they end up getting all the coins in 20 minutes, getting them down. Now they have
$15,000 into the pot.
$15,000 to the pot. They are doing good this season with adding to the pot, which I'm very proud of them. And then they get back to, he lets them know that Wes, Derek, and, oh my God, why I just forget the last person? Rob. Cannot be eliminated, and they will not participate in the banish, but they will go back and you guys can get to know them. So they get to the castle. And Tiff, maybe I went blank, but I feel like everybody just went chaotic. Nobody knows who they want to do. It sounds like we got Wells out here. It sounds like we got Robin out here. It sounds like we got, who else were they thinking, Tiff?
One of the things that I found interesting was how Boston Rob and Wes came in immediately, and Derek, but the scene that they pretty much show was them in the room with the photographs, getting to know people in Sandoval, and there's another lady in there, I don't know her name, going over who they're trying to get brought up to speed because they're behind, and that's
Sierra?
Yeah. That's a very uncomfortable place to be. It's like the game has already started. People have been playing, bonding, and in aligning, and you come in later, and you have to try to figure out what has happened in the game so far, and you can really see Rob and Wes kind of like, okay, all right, so who do you guys suspect? And they're like, okay, they consider themselves, I can tell they really consider themselves like elite.
It was Dolores.
Oh, was it Dolores?
Yes, and they were looking at the pictures, and they were talking about who they think it is, and they think it's Wells. They think it's also Gabby. They're talking about Nikki and Chriselle all working together.
It's funny because I'm looking at Boston Rob, and he's looking at Sandoval, and I'm like, I wonder, does he even trust him? Because Sandoval's like giving all this information, and it's like, would a traitor do that? But Derek and Wes and Boston Rob come in with this, you're in our house. Even though they came in last, they're looking at everyone else like, yeah, I know how to play these games. I know what I'm doing. I don't think y'all know what y'all doing. Just tell me what's going on so I can figure things out.
Correct. And then once I figure it out, we're going to do things my way.
That's how we're gonna follow me.
Yep. Boston Rob also has a conversation with Brittany, and Brittany's like, I don't think we met, introducing herself, and then just the way that Boston Rob looks at Brittany, looks at Danielle as they're talking, it's just like, baby, he's like analyzed everything about 20 steps ahead of you. He's already at the end of this game.
Well, that's how Danielle said she wanted to play, and I think Boston Rob just naturally has that knack. He said he's been playing poker since he was 8. He is someone who I don't even want to talk to outside of the game. In real life, I don't want to have a conversation with you. I think that you're looking at me and you see things about me that I've never even told anyone. I think you can read my mind. I'm uncomfortable with that. I don't even have anything to figure out. But just even you talking to me, he has the eyes of someone who can see right through you. And I would just be highly uncomfortable, even if I'm faithful. I'm just like, I feel like a traitor.
I feel like a traitor in real life. I feel like a traitor in real life. No, seriously, he does. I'm going to cut to the round table because at this point, we don't know who is going home.
Stop cutting. Just get there.
I'm at the round table.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. So we're at the round table.
We're at the round table, and everyone is quiet. This round table, Tiffany, it feels like there's 50 people at this damn table.
It is. It's packed.
It's packed. To the point that some people are like sitting back with their chair back, so they can't even sit at the table completely.
I wonder if it's a bigger table, or are they just like squeezed in more?
I don't know. I think they're just squeezed in more.
Yeah.
So then, no one's talking for like a while. And then Robin looks kind of at Bob and she's like, is anyone going to talk? Are you going to speak up? Anyone going to start? Bob's like, okay.
Well, I don't think Bob was not waiting on a cue. Bob was always going to go first. Because one thing I've seen about Bob is he wants to be in the center. He wants to be in the forefront, the leader, call the shots. He is the queen, okay? He puts the queen in drag because he was like, can I say something? And I'm like, oh my gosh. He is just so obviously a traitor. But
he sits there and he goes, I'm going to put somebody's name out there.
Yeah.
I'm putting it out on a whim, but I'm going to have to call out Wells. Wells is like, me?
Well, like me, wait a minute, hold on. I was just getting ready to call out Robin.
Right. Like, hold on now. What are we talking about? So then he's like, I just feel like after, the just the morning reaction and all this other stuff. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, after we took the blindfolds off, I feel like you were red at the point. Then he's kind of like, that's not true. And then Robin hops in. And then Wells is really hot now because, he wanted to call her Robin.
Yeah. So how you going to call? If you would have let me talk, I was going to call you out. How you going to call me out? You out.
Right, okay. So then he gets upset, and then, him and Robin kind of have a little bit of a back and forth. I got to give it to Wells. Wells was holding his ground because he was like, I'm not getting ran over by you, okay?
Because first of all, if I don't know who you are, people like intimidation isn't real. It's only real if you feel like this person is somebody on a different level than you. So if you kind of have an idea of who this person is, then you could be like, oh, this is a housewife. I know how she's. But if you don't know who they are, I don't give I'm not. You don't scare me because you're a human like me.
Okay, facts.
And honestly, nobody scare me anyway. So except Boston Rob, but.
So then Will calls out Robin and then also calls out Sam, who's Britney Spears' ex-husband.
Oh, I forgot. I was trying to figure out. I said, where is he?
As he said, he rolled his eye and said, oh, okay, yeah, of course you called me out. And then it's just like a trickle effect. And I love a good trickle effect. Then Tom said the vote comes out and he calls out of course, because he's obsessed and he knows that she is best friends with his ex. He calls out Chris Shaw and then also calls out Jeremy. I was like, how is Jeremy catching strays? I was like, where did these Jeremys come from? So then he calls her out and then, she just kind of ties her hair back, lets him know, Tom, you make me uncomfortable. The way that you looked at me made me feel uncomfortable. It was giving very
He goes, well, when I first took my mask off and I looked at you she's like, yeah, I looked uncomfortable because you make me uncomfortable because you had this death stare and you got your eyebrow all up here. So yeah, I was feeling uncomfortable. I was looking uncomfortable because I was uncomfortable around you.
Yeah, that's bad. It's like and her whole team of girls are like, it's bad. That
eat him up.
Yes. And then, Sierra comes out of nowhere. Pretty beautiful Sierra from Summer House. And she calls out Ivan.
Ivar. We both
Arvar.
had it wrong last episode.
Thank you. Ivar. Okay, the royalty. And then Danielle, afterwards, after all this goes down, Danielle's like, can I say something? Because, her and Bob can't shut the fuck up.
No, they have to prove that I was a traitor and I was also like coercing you all into thinking that I wasn't.
And I love them. I hope now that let me just say this. I just hope things get better. So Danielle calls out the housewives. She's like, I don't care who it is, but it's one of you housewives that killed Dorinda. And they're all like, okay, that's interesting.
This is the fourth time, at least, that I've heard Danielle make the claim that it has to be a housewife. Okay, you got to be careful with stuff like that because you said it already. So it's okay. Let the fire burn. Don't keep pouring gasoline on it.
Come on, pour it, baby. Wait, and then it gets even more chaotic. Then Tom and Sierra are so tired, which I appreciate it. I was doing my little clap. They just start turning to people like, what do you think? You're not talking. What do you think?
Brittany.
Brittany was...
I know Brittany looked at Tom like, how do you even know my name, sir?
How do you know my name? It has to be a name tag.
How do you even... What, me of all people, how do you even know my name? Don't you know somebody else?
Because she pushed her chair back and was like, oh, of course I feel uncomfortable. I'm saying something.
Right. Shit, I'm trying to...
I love that this season no one can be quiet. I love that. Keep that up. Okay. I love that. Call her. You should listen. At this point, if I was there, Tiffany, I'd be like, Alan, bring your ass in here. Let me ask you a question. Because everyone's getting called out at this point. So then we got to cut to.
We don't have to cut. Just get there. Stop saying that.
That's just my way of just saying how I talk, how I go to the next thing. I'm sorry. So then we get to the votes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to stop trying to be hard on Derek.
No,
but it's like
okay.
it's almost similar to when people say like, and every transition to the next is and like. Okay, shut up, Tiffany. It's late. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm being a mom.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. So then, we get to the votes. Okay, everyone starts voting. The votes, I'm gonna write them down because they were just all over the place. I swear, everybody, almost everyone got a vote. Yeah. And then we start getting to Ivan.
Ion. So Ion got Ion. No.
Ivar. We start getting to Ivar getting votes. And then we started getting to Robin getting votes and Wells getting votes.
And Ion.
Did she get any votes? Oh, yeah, she did get some. Did she?
Yeah, they each had 4. It was between Ivar, Robin, Wells, and Robin.
I think it was just 3 of them, Tiff. I think it was just Robin, Wells, and Ivan. Yep. I think that's it. So let's keep a moment. Even when it was Bob's turn, because once again, I love him, but he's driving me insane. Bob makes this whole theatrical speech. I said Ivan because the royals can keep a secret. Like it's just so
yeah. If
dramatic.
Anyone can keep a secret, if it's a royal.
It's a royal. Then it comes down to Carolyn. Carolyn has to break the 3-way tie.
Yeah.
And, Carolyn ends up voting for Wells. And she's just like, I don't even know. It was not a lot for me to go off of.
No, it wasn't. I didn't have a lot of information. So here
you go. So Wells, also when this vote is happening, Wells cursed. He like, man, they all fucking burning votes. Because people really were just voting on random ass
Because after
people.
Tom said all of that to Chriselle, he ends up voting for Jeremy. What?
Also, Brittany voted for Jeremy, threw me off too. I was like,
Brittany, where did you come from with Jeremy? Did you did somebody tell you to just get out Survivor? I can kind of understand, but why didn't you vote? Why did you vote for Tom? I mean,
I didn't understand that. Yeah, I didn't understand that. Their votes were all over the place. Which, if I was Wes, Derek, and Boston Rob, I'd be like, what is going on?
Like, everybody is saying what is going on.
at least I feel like the first couple votes of last season, everyone was together. This season, they're just.
Well, because
I would
they
have been up
kind
there
of
like
had
this
somebody
too.
last season who was like saying, remember our bachelor guy was like
Yep.
leading the charge on who they should vote for, and they were putting votes down on people. This time,
Yep.
nobody really had a lot of conversation about who they thought it was.
This would have been me up there at this point, since we're just throwing votes on everybody.
Oh, not Alan.
Alan,
Mm.
this is all the information I have to go off of. Alan at this point. So Wells ends up being the first person banished. He gets up there, he gives him a slow clap. And the slow clap is a little bit of triggering for me because anytime I think of a slow clap, I always think of Dan Geisley. A slow clap, he gets up there, give it a slow clap, and he lets them know something like, you guys are playing the game, but you're really not, but I'm a faithful. And they're all like, oh, shock, gag, can't believe it. The first person I look at, just because we know her so well, is Danielle.
Is she crying?
Let me tell you something. Danielle, if we get Danielle on this podcast, only thing we gonna do is cry. I'm gonna say, let's just cry the whole time. I want to see, give me a happy cry, a sad cry, a slow cry, a deaf cry.
It'll just be y'all two because I can't do it.
Oh, we know. We tried to do you crying on spot. Okay. I
have to really be moved.
Really been moved. Now, after this happens, they cut back to they're all back in, trying to figure out what happened, how did that happen, they're recapping, and Bob is just bopping all over the place. Bob the drag queen is bopping all over the place. He's dragging over here, he's queening over here, death dropping over here, okay? And there's a couple people like Tom, I think Gabby, I think Zac Efron's brother. What's his name?
Damn, that's his name. That's his name. That's his name.
Dylan.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like, listen, we didn't get him, but I'm starting to think it's Bob the drag queen because of the way that he's bopping all over the place.
Yeah.
And you said that, Tiff. You said he was doing too much.
Doing too much. You're too confident. You're too in charge. You're trying to lead the charge. People who don't have any fear, you kind of wonder. Last season, what was the guy's name with the blonde hair, the pilot? What was his name?
Peter
was a faithful, and he was very much leading the charge, but Bob's has a different type of personality in trying to, he's not trying to pin anything on anyone. He's just trying to be the leader.
Yeah, but he's also trying to make everybody like, oh, I'm a good time, which I get it. You want to be a good time, that's fine. But when you bopping all over the place and you giving these long speeches, and it's gonna start looking suspicious. Mm-hmm. Now, keep in mind, there's 3 shifts. And Rob is making it clear that he wants to protect his people in Survivor, as Tiffany says, Survivor stick together. He's making it clear, and he ends up giving his shield to Tony.
And without a doubt,
because he's like, I'm giving it to Tony.
Tony said, hey man, he said, hold your hand out, shut up, take this shield, go sit down.
Right.
Have a good night.
He really did.
You gotta talk me to death.
It was like some Godfather shit. It's like,
but Boston Rob said, whoever I give this shield to, they're gonna think that they're gonna treat me like they owe me their life, and then I'm gonna take it. That's pretty much what he said.
Savage. Derek ends up giving his shield to Dylan, which I was shocked. But he said there was something about Dylan, because I thought Derek was going to give it to Danielle or Brittany. But I think like we were discussing, Tiff, you kind of called this out. Like, Derek wants to extend the olive branch to other people.
Yeah, he needs more allies. He already knows he's got Danielle and Brittany for the most part.
Yeah. So he gives his to Dylan, and Dylan's kind of like, I don't even know who this guy is, but thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. And then Wes gives his to Jeremy. And one thing you said, Tiff, what did you say?
What did I say?
Yes, about Wes.
Oh, Wes loves Survivor players. He does not trust Big Brother players. He does not. He will not work with a Big Brother player.
He won't.
But he trusts Survivor players. Yes, he does.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I think, you know what? I love him. I'm going to blame Josh Martinez for that.
Sounds about right.
Because Wes does not trust Big Brother players, and I think it's because of Josh
That
Martinez.
makes sense.
Yes. So, you know, we cut off with that, with episode 2, Tiff. This episode was wild. I will say
we
this.
don't.
Just something else happened?
Yeah. So they get to the turret.
Oh my God. They get to the turret, and they're all kind of, you know, Bob, Drag Queen, Danielle, and Carolyn are debriefing about everything. They're like, everything's going great. This is according to plan. Everything's moving. And what did Bob say to you?
Oh my goodness. Bob starts Bob starts this turret session off with the girls and was like, you know, I pretty much ran that whole round table. I controlled the whole thing. I never lost control. I got that conversation going. I did this, pat myself on the back, puff my chest out, stick my booty out. I did everything I had to do. And it's because of me that we even got that conversation going. So I am head honcho in this bitch. What was that? Somebody knocking?
Who's that? Oh, okay. Somebody's coming.
And is it Alan? And walk somebody with a hood on.
And guess who it is, guys? Boston Rob.
Sure is. And all of these, I want to be the leader, I want to be the king, I want to be the queen, I want to be the drag queen, are sitting there looking like, I ain't gonna be shit in this turret. Because Boston Rob carries a confidence about himself and an air around him that says, I bow to no man. I listened to no one. Definitely not 3 people who I don't know if they ever won nothing. And I'm not doing that. So they already know when he comes in that he's coming in with his own agenda, his own mind made up. I don't necessarily know that he plans on, I think he'll listen and he'll make them think that they're working as a team, but he's very crafty in allowing people to do what he needs them to do, and they believe that it was their idea. So Danielle rolled her eyes. Carolyn was like, oh, hell.
I also think that Carolyn's a little relieved, though. I'm not going to lie. She looked a little bit like, oh, my God, but I'm also a little bit relieved because now she feels like she'll have somebody on her side. Somebody on her side. And I think Danielle, the whole time, I've never seen Danielle just so, like, just quiet. And I think that she was just I think this kind of threw a wrench. Of course. Danielle's plan on what she was going to do.
I think it throws a wrench in all of their plans a little bit because they had this idea of how they, you know, they probably went to bed the night before about, okay, this is who I'm traitor with, and this is what my plan on how I'm going to move forward now. But now you got Boston Rob, and it's like, I just see him leading this charge.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not gonna and everything's going his way. So either as a traitor, you either go along with him or you find a way to take him out.
And I think that even if
he's not aggressive with it, he's going to try to take them out anyway.
Yeah, I do. I was going to say, I think that even if he's not aggressive with leading the charge, even if they are led to believe that it's their decision, it'll be, you know, he's gonna convince them to make the decision that's best for him. So I think that the reactions that I received that as I was doing just fine. I was about to be the leader of this, and here he comes. Yeah, so we'll see.
I agree. Oh, that was episode 2 for you guys. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll be back for episode 3.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, guys.